This video we're going to talk about setting up inventory attributes. So right now I'm just in a music type storefront setup here, but it doesn't matter for items. So we're going to go under our drop down maintenance here and then inventory maintenance. And at the bottom, or towards the bottom I should say, there's setup attributes. So as you can see right now I have some attributes already defaulted in the system. So I have a color, artist, composer, and those are going to be based on the type of inventory that you're entering. So like for if you're doing print music for a music store, you wouldn't have something like color for the print music, whereas an instrument you wouldn't have composer or arranger, vice versa. So if you're a gun store, you may have barrel length or caliber as an attribute, or a sporting goods store you may have just color maybe and size. Depending on the different items and how they fall in the categories, that's where the attributes lie. So when we set up an attribute, so I'm just going to type in a simple one. So maybe I want to have one called store location. And tag name, I'll just call it locator. And then the type, there's different types here. User entry means that the user manually types in what is for this attribute. So obviously for maybe artist or composer, you would want to auto type, whereas if you're a gun store, you have caliber, you may want predefined values. Or there's in between for user entry with predefined. So we have a drop down for predefined, but the user can also type in what they want. So again, predefined values, if I chose that, you'll see the values tab shows up. And then just to cover the other ones, we have numeric integer. So that would mean it's just a number, no decimal. Numeric dec would be a number with decimal, and you can have a date attribute. So it would show up as a date selector. So I'm going to choose, again, predefined values. And then whether or not you want this required. So if this is checked and you're entering inventory, it won't let you continue until that something is filled in for this attribute. So I'm just going to leave that unchecked. And as I said, since it's predefined, we have the values tab. So this is where we key in those predefined values. So you may have a value of on display, and we'll save that. And then we hit add again. So maybe it's in warehouse, and then depending on your attribute, if I wanted to be specific, I could say aisle 3, shelf 4, things like that. Maybe it's in the closet, whatever. So again, this is just a sample attribute that I'm adding. So now I can say where on my inventory do I want this attribute to show up. So I come under subcategories. So I can filter by category. So let's say I want it for my instruments. I want to set this for my band instruments specifically. I can be specific and choose a subcategory, or I can leave it all subcategories, and this attribute is going to be defaulted to all those. So if I hit save here, that attribute is now going to be assigned to all my band and all the subcategories under band. So I'll finally hit save, and just to check that, if I go back under maintenance, inventory maintenance, and maintain subcategories, if anything on band here, if I click this and go to the attributes tab, you'll see store location is now checked. All the attributes show up, but only the checked ones are what are going to show for this particular category, subcategory. So again, if I go down to orchestra here, which I did not add the store location as a checked option, it is not checked, but other ones are. So let's put this into play here, and we're going to go under modules, inventory, add change inventory, and we'll just add something in band. So let's say it's a serialized item, and I'm going to choose band, and I'll just say it's a flute, and we'll choose Selmer, and we'll just make some model number up here. this point I can continue. Of course, when you're adding an item, you'd fill in your cost, pricing, things like that. So I'll hit proceed just to show to the attribute screen here. And here is our attributes on the top right. So there's my store location, and there's my 3 options that I chose. So I can choose that, and then these other ones are just user entry. So color, I can say it's a silver, flute, etc. Finish. And that's really how the attributes are set up and work in AMSI. And again, if I had any that were required, if I tried to save, it would flash that, hey, we need to fill something in here. If I just save this, we're done with that, ready on to the next item. Thanks.